How did Hercules, the invincible demigod of Greek mythology, die? After completing his legendary 12 labors, Heracles married the beautiful Deianira, hoping at last to find peace. But fate had not forgotten him. One day, while traveling, they came to a wild river where the centaur, Nessus, offered to carry Deianira across. During Heracles' fourth labor, a violent clash had erupted between the hero and a band of centaurs. Many had fallen to his deadly Hydra-poisoned arrows, and the survivors had fled in terror. Nessus had been among them, nursing a bitter grudge ever since. Heracles accepted the help of the centaur, unaware of the dark intent. But midway, Nessus seized Deianira. Heracles acted swiftly, drawing his bow and loosing a deadly arrow tipped with Hydra's venom. As Nessus lay dying, hatred burned in his eyes. With his last breath, he whispered a cruel lie to Deianira, that his blood could keep Heracles faithful forever. Years later, when doubt and jealousy clouded Deianira's heart, she sent Heracles a tunic soaked in the centaur's tainted blood. The moment it touched his skin, the Hydra's venom started eating through his flesh and bone. Knowing he could not escape this final torment, Heracles built his own funeral. As the flames roared, the mortal part of him was burned away. But Zeus, unwilling to lose his son, seized his immortal spirit and carried him to Olympus. In Greek mythology, Zeus, the mighty king of the gods, feared many who sat upon Olympus, for power breeds envy and thrones are never safe. But among them all, there was one he feared above the rest, Aphrodite. Born from the foam of the sea when the ancient god Uranus was castrated, she was older than the Olympians themselves, an eternal force of love and desire. But one day on radiant Mount Olympus, Aphrodite's pride grew too great. Before the gathered gods, she declared that her power surpassed them all, that even Zeus could not resist her will. Love, she said, rules over gods and mortals alike. I can make kings forsake their crowns and kingdoms crumble for the sake of desire. Zeus listened in silence, his eyes dark as storm clouds, but he vowed to humble her. When Aphrodite later descended to Troy, disguised as a mortal woman to attend one of her own festivals, Zeus summoned Hermes. "Let us see," he said, "how the goddess of love endures love herself." Hermes stole one of Eros's love arrows and flew to Troy. Among the crowd, he found a humble shepherd of no great name, Anchises, and when Aphrodite passed by, Hermes struck. The goddess who once ruled love now trembled beneath it. Drawn irresistibly to Anchises, the two fulfilled the act of love. But soon she realized the truth, that Hermes had ensnared her heart at Zeus's command, a cruel act meant to humble her pride. From their union came Aeneas, the mortal son fated to become one of Troy's greatest heroes, and the founder of empires yet unborn. How did Bellerophon and Pegasus, both sons of the god Poseidon, defeat the fearsome chimera in Greek mythology? Long ago, there lived a young hero named Bellerophon. The demigod had long dreamed of taming the mighty Pegasus, the winged horse of legend. Answering his wish, the goddess Athena appeared, gifting him a golden bridle imbued with divine power. With it, Bellerophon calmed the wild steed, and together they soared into the heavens. Soon, Bellerophon would be known across all of ancient Greece as the famed rider of Pegasus. But the king of Lycia, hoping to rid himself of Bellerophon, sent him on an impossible quest. "Slay the chimera," he commanded, a monstrous creature with the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and a serpent for a tail. Fire poured from its jaws, and whole villages lay in ashes where it passed. But Bellerophon would not flee. High above the scorched hills where the chimera roared, Bellerophon dove from the skies, hurling spears and dodging fire. The beast's breath was a storm of flame, but Bellerophon was swift. At last, he drove a specially crafted spear tipped with lead into the chimera's throat. The beast's own fire melted the lead, and it poured down its throat like molten death. With a final roar, the chimera fell. Bellerophon had triumphed. Why did the god Poseidon become the ruler of the ocean in Greek mythology? Long ago, when the world was young and the Titans had fallen, the three brothers, Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon, stood atop Mount Olympus, ready to divide the realms of creation. The earth itself belonged to none, but the heavens, the underworld, and the seas waited for their new masters. To settle their fate, they cast lots. Zeus, with a gleam in his eye, drew the heavens and claimed the skies, becoming lord of thunder and storm. Hades, grim and silent, drew the underworld, ruling the realm of shadows and lost souls. And then Poseidon reached into the bronze helmet and drew his lot, the ocean. Some say Poseidon's heart stirred with pride, for while the heavens watched from above and the underworld brooded below, the seas moved between both, touching every shore and carrying the whispers of gods and men alike. From that day, Poseidon raised his trident high and claimed the waves as his own, god of the seas, of storms, of earthquakes, and all creatures of the deep. Sailors were forever at the mercy of Poseidon's ever-changing moods, just like the restless sea itself.